Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I am going to explain some very important cloud concept that every DevOps engineer must know. Okay, the first one is the Azure storage account and the Azure regions and availability zones, redundancy types like LRS, ZRS, GRS, then Terraform state file, then remote backend configuration, then how Terraform state locking works, and many more topics are there today. Okay, so I will explain everything in simple and very practical way so that you can understand it. Yeah, let me. We already went through the previous topics like Terraform and all, how, why we are using like that. So if you want to go through, just watch my previous video so that you can able to learn a lot. Okay. Yeah. So the Azure storage account. Okay. So let me log in into my Azure account. Let me see how much I have left. Forecast, it is showing 25.56K. Okay, it is still active. This subscription ID and all. Okay, so let's see how to create a storage account. Okay, Azure storage account. Yeah, we already have a storage account on the name of Saturday 29112025. Okay, so first let's talk about that Azure storage account and the concept and all there. So a storage account is basically a container in Azure that stores your data. Okay, means this is the storage account we have in that we can store the data. Once we create a storage account, Azure gives you a multiple storage services inside it. Okay, like you can see, if I'll open this Saturday 2911022025. Okay, so this is my storage account here. Now you can see there are you know so many options here as Azure is giving you. Okay, overview, active log and all. But if you are talk if I'll talk about the storage account, then we get the four main services of storage account, and you can see here containers, file shares, queues, okay, tables. Okay, So containers is also called as a blob storage and all. Okay, and this is used to store files like image, videos, log, backups, document, anything that is unstructured. So we can keep in containers. Okay, I'll show you inside the container. Okay, you can see Saturday name is there. One container is there. Okay, and we can keep anything inside this container, and you can directly upload it from here. Okay, so this is about the blob storage. Now come to that file share. Yeah, we have file shares. So this is like a file shared folder, and you can mount it from Windows or Linux using SMB protocol and all. Okay, the third one is the queues one, queue storage, and this is used for sending and receiving messages between applications and useful for decoupling and all. Okay, and the fourth one is tables. That table storage, this is a NoSQL key value database, and it is good for structure, but we can say for flexible data. Okay, so we will go in detail in deep. Okay, so this is the storage account, and so in simple word, I can say a storage account is a base container, and inside it you get multiple types of storage options depending on your use cases. Okay, now come to that Azure regions and availability zones. Now let's understand regions and zones. Azure is available all over the world, and each physical location is called a region. And now you can see, if I'll click on, yeah, I'll create here only. Yeah, you can see I am talking about this region. Okay, so we have Australia Central, we have Australia Southeast, and many more we have. Okay, and it is globally available. So why regions are important? Because of compliance, that data residency, latency, and pricing and all. And inside each region, Azure divides data center into availability zone. Okay, so each zone is physically separated with separate power, separate cooling. Okay, like I also here Asia Pacific. Okay, Asia Pacific, Asia Pacific, Asia Pacific, Asia Pacific. Like that, we have so many zones here. Okay, and every zone like Australia, Central India, East Asia, Indonesia Central. Like that, we have separate power, separate cooling, separate networking. Okay, so these are the things, and usually there are zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, like that we have for each region. So if one zone goes down, the other zone keeps working. So if you spread your resources across zone, your application become highly available. Okay, I'll show you later that how we are using as a DR, like disaster recovery, high availability. We will talk about okay in very detail, and it is a good concept while you have an interview and all, and when you are doing some work for companies or any project and all. So it is very important, the region one. Okay, now these are the things. Now come to the redundancy type. Okay, so one of the most important concept, that is the data redundancy, and Azure storage gives three important redundancy options. Okay, like I'll write here name, that is today is, I think, Tuesday. Okay, and 02122025. This is the storage account name I gave. Now if I'll come to the redundancy, and we can see we have three important redundancy options. Here we can see two for this region, that is LRS, ZRS. If I'll select some, okay, now we have four options. Okay, like that we have so many options and all. And I'll talk about the LRS. LRS is now I'll select this LRS. Yeah, and you can see in detail lowest cost options with basic protection against server rack and drive failures, recommended for non-critical scenarios. Okay, so data is copied three times, but inside one data center. And I can say this is the cheapest option and least resilient and good for dev or test or non-critical data. This is very good. Now come to that ZRS. Okay, let's talk about GRS. GRS is geo redundant storage, and we can see intermediate options and with failover capabilities. Yeah, failover capabilities and recommended for backup scenarios and all. So data is copied to a completely different region far away in zero redundant storage, and it is best for disaster recovery, protect against full regional outage, and recommended for critical applications. Okay, and this is the zone redundant storage, and we can see here intermediate options with protection against data center level failures, recommended for high availability scenarios. So data is copied across three availability zones and very high availability, protect against data center failures if we have, recommended for the production workload if we have any. And the last option is that geo zone redundant storage. This is the mixture of this GRS and ZRS. Okay, and optimal data protection solution that include the offering of both GRS and ZRS, recommended for the critical data scenarios and all. Okay, so LRS, LRS, the same data center we are using. Okay, ZRS, we are using different zone. This one, GRS, we are using different zone. This we are the geo redundancy storage. We are using different region. Okay, this is for different region. This is for different zone. Okay, this is different region. This is different zone. Okay, and this is the both we can say. Okay, so this is the thing, and I'll again our next topic is that Terraform state file. Why we are studying this? That this will very helpful to keep our state file here. So now our next topic is Terraform state file. I already make you through this Terraform state file and all. I am again coming to this topic so that you can remember it very well, and we can have some new topic today, and that is the backend and all. Okay, we'll see. So now let's talk about Terraform. So Terraform uses something called the state file. Okay, and we can see that this is a JSON file where Terraform stores which resources it created, their current configurations, IDs, dependencies. Okay, like that state file have. I already showed you 2 to 3 times. Again, I'll show you. Let me create 02 workspace dot. Okay. Yeah. Terraform state file. I need to show you the Terraform state file. Here I am copying my subscription ID. Okay. Now I'll take one resource group. Okay. Now Terraform init. Again, you can see initializing the backend. We don't have any backend, so just skip that one. Initializing the provider plugins and all. So you already seen what is the work of Terraform init. So you must remember. Yeah. Now Terraform like yeah. Now I am talking about this Terraform state file. Okay. So this is a JSON file. If you can see, okay, now not opening. So what state file have that the resource it created, whatever the resource it is creating right now. Okay, it having tracking that all the resources in this state file. Okay, in JSON format it have. Okay, let it create, and we have that their current configuration in the state file only. Then we have IDs there, whatever the resource is created, all the IDs we have there, and the dependencies. If we have any dependencies, it should be there in state file. Now you can see this is a JSON file. Okay, if you understand JSON, you can look into this. Okay, you can see ID here. For example, 123. This is the ID. Location managed by name, everything you have. Okay, so Terraform uses this state file to understand. You know, Terraform using this state file to understand that what already exists and what needs to be changed and what needs to be destroyed. Like that, it having all the information. And Terraform is using this state file only. This is the brain of Terraform, you can say. Okay, if you delete the state file, Terraform becomes blind. Okay, it cannot track your infrastructure anymore. So that's why state file is the heart of Terraform, brain of Terraform. You can say anything. So for this, what we are doing, remote backend configuration in Azure storage. Okay, we are doing remote backend configuration in Azure storage. What we already seen there, storage account. So by default, Terraform stores a state file locally on our laptop only, and we can see terraform.tf state. Okay, we did not configure our backend block here, so it is keeping my state file in my local system only. But this is a very risky because my laptop can get crash. Okay, like if I'm working in some organization, so other team members cannot collaborate because of this, that Terraform state file in my local, and pipeline can't access the state. If you are using state file, keeping our state file in local, so pipeline cannot access the state. Okay, because this is in my local and pipeline running there only. So and there is a no locking. Okay, if it is in my laptop, means no locking system is there here. So we move the state to a remote backend. Okay, in Azure, we store the state inside a storage account container. So here is the backend block. I can say we can give backend block inside the Terraform block only. Okay, and inside the Terraform block means after this process we can give, or before this process we can give anywhere, but not here, not here, like that. After this process only, and before this process only we can give. This is the inside of Terraform block only. So let's try with this here. Okay, if I'll give here, it's okay. If I'll give here, it's also okay. Okay, I always try to give here only. It looks beautiful here. Now this this tells Terraform that which resource group contains the storage account. Okay, this backend block having some uses of that, and from this block storage we can say which resource group contains the storage account, which storage account, which storage account name is there. We can see which container we have our state file. Okay, and what will the file name of that state. Let me Okay, let me delete this Terraform state file from here. Now I'll delete this. I'll delete this, and let me delete the storage account what it is created right now. Now it is deleted. Now come to the configuration file. Now here. Now we can use storage account. Here we have, yeah, this storage account we are going to use for our state file. Okay, now I'll see the container name. Yeah, we already have one terraform.tf state file. I think I used the storage account, but let me delete this. Okay, now I have to mention everything. Yeah, container name we have Saturday. Okay, here. Now let me write dev. This is state file for dev one. Okay, means the file tf state file will create on the name of dev.terraform.tf state. Okay, now I have to give storage account. So storage account name is this one. Now resource group, in which resource group it is there, this is storage account. Now this is Saturday resource group. Okay, now I configure my backend block. Okay, now run terraform init. Now you can see initializing the backend. Okay, backend initialization successfully. You can see. Now if we will check whether any file is there in blob or not, container Saturday. Now you can see dev.terraform.tf state. Now we don't have state file here. Let me apply. Now we can't see the state file here. Okay, so how terraform state locking works. So I already told you that we have functionality like locking and unlocking, like that. Okay, and this is a very important topic. Okay, once your interviewer will ask you that why we are keeping our state file in remote, so you have one answer like that. So the function of locking and unlocking of terraform state file. Okay, so when we run terraform plan or terraform apply, terraform creates a lock on the state file. Why it happened? To avoid conflicts. Okay, like imagine that you have your state file in somewhere is centralized, and you have so many of contributor there. So if everyone will try at once the terraform apply or terraform plan, so there may be a conflict. Okay, now it happened. Yeah, Now you can see there are no any resource group. Sorry, .tf state file is in local. Now you can see here only. Yeah, yeah. Now, yeah, look here. If you all see here, you have options: add dictionary, upload, change access level, refresh, delete, copy, paste, rename, and this is the acquire lease, break lease. This is the locking functionality we have. Okay, so imagine that two people running apply at the same time. Okay, and if both are trying to modify the state file, so the state gets corrupted. So Terraform locks the state automatically. One Only one operations can run at a time. Once the apply is completed successfully, the lock is automatically released. Okay, this one. When apply will be there, the this mode will be in acquire lease only. Once the work will done, the break lease is there. Let me show you again. Again, I am going to create another resource so that we can see how locking is work here. Fine. Okay. So Terraform apply auto approve. Now let's see the magic here. Yeah, you can see it is in locking condition only. Your state file is in locking condition. You can do unlocking here. Still it is in locking condition. I am keeping refresh button again so that you can see from. Yeah, now it's going to complete. Yeah, now you can see break lease was there. Now here also we can see acquiring state lock and releasing state lock. Okay, so let me show you what happens if you have some other guy, like they are doing some operations, so it will be in lock conditions like this. Okay, now if you will try to do anything, okay, let me plan Terraform plan. You will get a error. Yeah. Okay, it is trying to acquire the state lock, but error acquiring the state lock, error message, state blob is already locked. Okay, like that you will get a message if someone is already trying for apply or plan. So let me break the lease, and now we can see again. So if Terraform crashes, the lock expires after a timeout. Okay, and so this prevent you know overwriting, corruption, or inconsistent deployments. This is extremely important in team environments and CI/CD pipelines. Okay, very very important. So this is the complete explanation of Azure Storage Account, regions, zones, redundancy types, Terraform state file, state backend, and state locking. Okay, these concepts are the foundation of cloud and DevOps. So understanding them clearly will help you in interviews, projects, and your real production work. Okay. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for joining the live session.